Of course, glad you mentioned because, yeah, Federico and I are convinced that we're living this tech revolution that will change the way we build startups and the way we clients consume services and products, etc. And we've seen it 9 months ago. We've all used GPT, amazing adoption, etc. And what we've seen is that for Latin America specifically, I mean, the fundamentals will not come from this region. And that might be like the role for the big techs, OpenAI, Meta, etc., that will create these fundamentals. But that no matter where you are in the globe, your startup will need to integrate AI in some of these two ways. The first one is by creating a product that will incorporate AI. For example, Sensei, which is our first investment in Fund 4, which actually utilizes generative AI to create experiments for companies, CPGs, banks, etc., in order to get market share. And the other way, the second way, is by making it part of your operations. So for all startups, we'll need to integrate Copilot and any other resources in order to become more efficient. So the checks that all VP and K Fund invest into these startups and companies will actually allow them to create more things because they will become way leaner and way more capital efficient in building stuff.
So to understand that, and I think it's a smart move. You're in this conundrum between AI infrastructure, right? The creation of the Lego pieces that are needed for the AI new world, or the applications, whether they are operationally efficiency internally or external AI nudges in the product. You feel that in Latin, VC should be focusing in the second rather than the first.
No, I think it will be in both. Like,
Both.
so we will not create the next OpenAI. I don't think so. But what we will do is that we will use all the different fundamentals being built by other geographies
Mm-hmm.
to build better products. The other example, for example, is Jana. Then again, that Jana used to be a decision tree, but now with generative AI, it's able to do a personalized journey. So it's incorporating into their product generative AI. So one is the product-led AI, and the other is the efficiency operational AI. That a good example is Shinkansen, which is our latest investment in Santiago de Chile. And when you go into Shinkansen's office, you think you're gonna have like 50 developers working on it, and actually they're just four because they can do it with generative AI that they can code faster and in such a more practical way that they four people can do what 50 could do a year ago. So that revolution is just amazing. Like either you use it in your product or in the way you build your product, it's going to revolutionize the way we are building the future companies of Latam and, of course, anywhere in the world.
And thinking about the other open discussion, if incumbents are going to have an advantage because they have distribution, access to proprietary data versus the scale ups or the startups, do you think that corporates in LATAM are going to be quick to implement AI like Adobe is doing, or you think they're going to be slow?
So this is the perfect question because we actually just launched our latest report that is called the State of AI in Latin America, available in our webpage. Um, and we try to understand and map what was going on in Latin America from startups, corporates, and investors. And we had that 75% of startups are already using AI in order to build, ship, whatever, but only 50% of corporates were adopting AI into the way they were using their operations, etc. So startups have this advantage to be able to launch and test and do things faster.
Mm-hmm.
Corporates, of course, they do have data, humongous amount of data that can leverage on. So I think a good mix will be for that. I'm very bullish about startups building B2B AI solutions for corporates. I think that will be a good trend to oversee. Um, but for both of them, and both answered in this report, that AI will be one of their top priorities for the future.
Okay. Okay, that opens a way for cooperation, I would say, right? Definitely.
And in addition to
Yeah.
that, what would you say were your two or top three surprises in doing the report, considering the Latam scene for AI?
Yes. So another surprise was that, for example, for startups, they were using AI in order to create content. So basically, it's generative AI. While corporates were using it more into machine learning and data analysis, which makes sense, right? One is more riskier than the other, and the other one is the advantage of the databases that they had. But for startups, one of the biggest barriers into incorporating AI was the lack of talent or profiles in AI experiences. While for corporates was they already may have like these teams, about 6 to 8 people onboarded already in the corporate, but they were still they had the talent, but they were moving slower. Yeah, slower.